for recruiting the choirs in all of North America, or just
North America and the islands, yes.
And tell me a little bit about what kind of challenge that is.
Well, first of all, we had to really explain the World Choir Games to the American market because there had been minimal participation from American choirs in previous World Choir Games. Only about 10 or 12 had participated before. So we spent a lot of time explaining the format of the games being very similar to the Olympics. We also had to spend a lot of time explaining the adjudication system, where the choirs are adjudicated on their own personal best performance rather than against one another. And this was very appealing to the American choirs because they're not used to competing except in the barbershop and show choir genre. And the rest of the genres, they don't normally compete. So to explain that and to have the children's choirs become very active, it was very exciting for us to be able to take that story out and meet with the choirs. Of course, finding what choirs we wanted to invite and recruit was really a challenge as well, because we are truly blessed in this country with great choral singing. And we started with our hometown, of course, in Cincinnati, and recruited our top 9 from Cincinnati. And from there, we spread out, and we used recommendations from our music advisory committee. We spent a lot of time at concerts, a lot of time at conferences, and a lot of time listening.
So it sounds like Cincinnati is going to be really well represented.
Cincinnati's choral community is so much bigger than I think really we have recognized before. And the outreach from our community of choirs has been tremendous. They have contacted friends all around the country, even friends that are in other countries, and encouraged them to be a part of the games. And I think the excitement level from our choirs is tremendous. They want to be ambassadors for our city and for singing. And they are so pumped up that on these long days, they lift our spirits very much.
Why has it been such a secret in North America about the World Choir Games?
I think it's just really been that they were established in Europe, and of course, many, many choirs in Europe. And the tradition of singing in concerts for choral music in Europe is very, very strong, and it's very, very common. I have been surprised over the last 3 years, as I have spent so much more time in Europe with my colleagues, to see that it's a typical date night in Europe to go to a concert in a basilica. And so there's a little more of that history of that kind of participation and singing and festivals. It's a lot more common. It's a much older culture.
Since this is for a lot of choirs and a lot of just our culture, their first introduction to this kind of choral competition and this kind of music, do you think that we're going to have a change in, after this is over, are people's eyes open and saying, hey, we need to start this tradition here?
I think right now that the Cincinnati Organizing Committee has done a great job creating a festive atmosphere. So I think the fun factor is going to be here. We are blessed in this city that our venues are so close in proximity, and the choirs are going to have a great opportunity to interact with one another, meet each other on the street, walking from venue to venue, find that spontaneous song and singing and sharing. All of those pieces gives our local choirs that international experience, gives our international choirs that American experience that so many of them are looking forward to. And I think the positiveness of that, and then the adjudication process here, I really believe that the choirs are going to say, this is an experience that we need to carry on. Maybe we should look at it again in Cincinnati, but let's make sure that we continue to participate, especially give our young people the opportunity to be a part of this type of an event.
Do you think that this could change? It's a little bit of the same question, but do you think this could change the musical, the way music is experienced here in Cincinnati for time to come?
What I hope, as is the hope of almost anybody that's involved in the arts, I hope that this is a cultural awareness to the importance of our arts in our school systems and in the continued support of those in our communities. To see our young people come together and sing, to see the honor choir from Cincinnati sing for the very first time, children from our public school system never thought they'd ever be on a stage, never thought they'd be in a world-recognized choir conducted by an internationally recognized conductor, Rollo Dilworth. These kids are having an opportunity at the World Choir Games in front of their community they never dreamt that they would have. Those kind of experiences are the experiences that I hope go forward to create great arts patrons of the future, future May Festival singers, future teachers in our school systems, and people who advocate for the growth and the culture of the arts.
For kids who are in the inner city, who, they're faced with violence every day, drug dealers on the street corner, is this possibly a touchstone for them to rise above it, to get out of a bad environment?
Yeah, I think this gives them an opportunity to find another medium to come together with friends and do something that's constructive and productive. If you look at the history of even Motown and so many of the great Motown groups and how they found each other on the streets and on street corners and began to sing together, I'm hoping that seeing this experience in Cincinnati and the spontaneity of people singing and our choirs getting to participate, all of a sudden it's like, it's really cool to sing. This is neat. This is fun. We can do this. It doesn't cost money. We can do it anywhere we go. We can sing in a restaurant, on a corner, at home. So I do hope that it becomes part of a lot of our young people's lives, that they really find that singing is exuberant.
And one final question, soapbox question. What is it about music that does this thing?
There's an emotional arc in every piece of music. And it finds you in your soul. And we fail to recognize sometimes that music is with us almost all day long. It's the background of everything we see on television, everything we hear on the radio. It's in the elevator, it's in the shopping malls. Music is everywhere in our lives. It's an earworm back there that just stays with us. And it enriches your soul, and it gives you a place to go. And if you talk to a lot of musicians, they'll say, when I'm singing, that's all I'm doing. I'm just in that moment of singing. I'm not thinking about anything else, but I'm in that moment of singing or playing. And that's what's really great about music. It's a friend.